Welcome back, guys. So today, Jamila and I are going to dive into our lives and give you an opportunity to get to know us a little bit more. Jamila's got the giggles, so bear with.
I don't know what's happening. I just looked over to Emily and she's like, hold it together. And she's like, I cannot. Welcome, guys. Hello. If I lose myself a little bit, I'm having a day where I'm just really happy and I can't stop.
It's nice. We'll embrace it.
Okay, keep going.
So let's start by the inspiration behind the title of the name Champagne and Gratitude. And every day I get a voice note from Jamila asking me what I'm celebrating, what I'm grateful for. I usually respond.
I was going to say, I ask you and then you'll be like, hey, what are you grateful? What are you celebrating? And it's silent, radio silent.
Oh, no, I don't respond.
No, I don't respond. Like, you'll tell me and then I'll ask you and then you'll be like, what about you? Like, I'll get back to you later.
I don't even realise.
Oh, great.
Anyway, most days we do it. So, Jamila, what are you celebrating this week? Or today, sorry, and what are you grateful for? Laughter?
Actually, I'm just celebrating feeling really happy. Like,
that's nice.
Yeah, I'm just I'm in a really good mood and I'm vibing it. So let's celebrate that. So if I have a few giggles throughout this episode, just bear with me, please. I'm just loving life.
Did a magic cookie this morning.
Feels like it, honestly. And I am grateful for a particular person in my life. I won't say their name. I mean, I'm grateful for everyone in my life, but especially you. I was like, I'm going to say someone else. But there's this one person in my life at the moment that has come into my life and is becoming a really good friend of mine. And I really appreciate her. And she's had a big, I guess, like impact on my life in such a small period of time. And it's funny how the universe has such a good way of like, this person was just like always like her and a partner, like we knew her partner first and he was just, we kept bumping into him and then they ended up getting together and it was just like they were always kind of there and now they're very much so a part of our lives. But I'm so grateful for these people.
That's nice. Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
It's so nice when you find people that you align to and when you hang out with them, you just feel really fulfilled and energized. There's nothing better.
Yeah. And how about you? What are you grateful for and what are you celebrating?
So today I'm celebrating my body. So, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So this morning I had a yoga class with Jackie. Have you done one of her yoga classes yet?
I think I did remember we were having coffee and then she's like, come upstairs for a yoga class.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, intense.
Yeah. So
like amazing.
She's amazing and it's honestly like a therapy session and she's really good at making you reflect on your life and your situation and putting things in context. So this morning at the start of the practice, she got us to consider two things. The first thing, it was all around gratitude. So the first thing was that, you know, we might wake up and we might be like a little bit sluggish and like, oh, I have to go move my body. I have to go do yoga. I have to go to the gym, whatever it is for you. Yeah. But if you reframe that and if you think about how many millions of people in the world that would kill to be in that situation, to get to go to a studio, to do yoga or go to a gym and do a workout and give their body that self-love. Yeah, and so just reframing that in the way she, was just saying that, you know, how lucky we are. So many people don't have that opportunity. I was like, I'll bounce out of bed tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, me too now. Like, I've always heard that, like, be grateful that you can move your body because so many people either can't or they want to. So, yeah, it's always a good one to come back to and be like, yeah, I can move my body. I have the choice to be able to say,
But also the opportunity to go somewhere to do that, like the fact you have time and you're able to do it. And then the second part of the session, she made us reflect upon like our actual physical body. And she used the toes as an example. So she was like, how often do you actually consider your toes and be grateful for what they do? Because
you little tootsies.
But you don't even...
Sorry,
Jamila just drew a smiley face on my toe actually before we started recording.
She was just resting her foot on the table. I was like, can I draw a smiley face on that?
My feet are clean.
And now here we are talking about toes.
Yeah, but no, she said, she's like, you know, we give them probably no thanks or no gratitude, but if we were to lose them, we'd realise just how key they are to being able to walk and stand. And
ouch.
Yeah, but it was just, I don't know, it was just really nice to reflect and be like, yeah, I'm so lucky and so grateful that I have this body that I can move. And yeah. And then grateful for, I'm grateful for your giggling mood.
Are you sure?
No, I'm grateful for this week. I've had a really fun week, and I got to do a shoot for Lulu with one of my buddies who he's an amazing like fashion travel model and photographer, and working with him and the other photographer that we had was just incredible, and learning so much from these people that are just amazing at what they do. Yeah, and just really grateful for that.
That's epic. Is that are they the people that you sent me that photo that I was obsessing over?
Yeah.
Emma sent me this photo, or like it was on Instagram, and I just was fangirling her. She looked amazing, and the people in the photo, I was like, I just love everything about it.
It was on my story, and she messages me last night after already commenting about 3 times on my story on that photo, going, "Where's it gone?" And I was like, "Babe, it's a story. It disappears in 24 hours. Here, have the hard copy. Save it to your file."
Yeah, this is my best friend, guys. That's how
Everyone needs a friend like that.
Oh yeah, 100%. You do the same to me too. I know it.
Yeah, absolutely. I watched your story once though, not 10 times.
No, but I reckon if you were like, that is good.
Okay, like, going back to it. Don't know your game.
Yeah, absolutely wouldn't. Yeah, okay. Should we get into it?
Yeah, cool. So today we're going to run through, we're going to ask each other a few questions that we don't know what they are. So like what we did in our first episode. So just gives you guys an opportunity to get to know us a little more. Maybe we'll give a bit of an update at the end on where we're at with our businesses and yeah, just how we're tracking really.
We're going to try and do this like every handful of episodes as well. So kind of, because we do want to have guests on as much as we can, but then we also want to be able to be like, hey, this is what's happening in our lives, where we're at, do a bit of a Q&A. So we're yet to know the name of what we're going to call this, but comment below.
Fun fact Friday.
What else? I don't know. I've got nothing. I'm too much in a giggly mood to even.
Next episode, we'll have a name for it.
Do you want to...
Do you want me to start? Do you want to take the questions first?
Oh, God. Yeah, can we get it over and done with?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I was thinking about this last night. So Jamila is turning 30 in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. 2 weeks.
Which is so nice. It's a massive occasion.
It is massive.
You've kept yourself alive for 30 years, which is great. But so I've got a couple of questions around that. The first one is what is some advice or something that you have now learned that you would tell your 20-year-old self? And then the second part I want to know is like from all your years, what were the most transformative years? Like obviously now you've been doing a lot of self-development and we know you've changed massively in terms of your career, working for someone, creating your own business, and going through a bit of a snaky journey to get there. What were the biggest lessons during that? What would you tell your 20-year-old self, and what were the most transformative years and why?
What I would tell my 20-year-old self, I need to pause for a moment because there's a lot.
Have a think.
I guess a phrase has come up for me. It's like, when you're in your head, you're dead.
Yeah, wow. I've never heard that before. That's great.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like I've heard you said it. Say it. Said it.
I've not said it.
Anyway, when you're in your head, you're dead. So I think when I was younger, I was always fixated on how other people perceive me. Am I enough? Am I smart enough? Am I creative enough? Am I fit enough? Am I attractive enough? Am I nice enough? And always fixating on I'm not enough, I'm not being enough, I'm not doing enough. And another thing I'll drop here as well, I'm dyslexic, so a whole part of my life was always fighting that, like how people, when people knew that, they would see me differently, but I was always in my head about it, always like overthinking being dyslexic, overthinking every situation that I was always in. And if I could go back and tell myself, like, get out of your head and like into your body, and who cares? Like at the end of the day, we're all going to die. Like, and then no one's going to be thinking of you on your deathbed, like on their deathbed being like, she said this and she was dyslexic and I can't believe that. Like
no one's going to consider that. I think as well, like, and when we do get in our heads and we're thinking, people are thinking a certain way, like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
They're probably thinking about themselves, not
100%.
Like,
yeah. So for me, it's pretty like straightforward to say to a 20-year-old, I feel like, be like, what? But like, yeah, if you're in your head, you're dead. Life goes so quickly. Like, you know, be mindful of the decisions that you make. They do impact you in the future. And I think you're so naive when you're young and you're like, nothing can affect me. Nothing will affect me because I'm only like 18, 17, 20, 21. Like everything seems rosy and merry, which is great. I think that's also the bliss of it, being naive. Like you do want to be a little bit naive when you're young. But I think for anyone that is 20 and is listening to this podcast, like life goes so quickly.
Yeah.
Like I'm 30 in like 2 weeks and it feels like a year ago that I was thinking, oh, I can't wait to be 25. And like by the time I'm 25, I'll have a kid, I'll have a house, I'll be married. So I think really just like live in the present, live in the now, and love your life. Like be grateful for everything that comes, whether it's hardship or happiness. Be so grateful for that because life goes so quickly and then you never know what could happen to yourself, to the people that you love around you. And I think for me, I'm going through this at the moment. Like I'm going into that next phase of my life. And then because I'm 30, like my grandparents are unwell. You know, people that have always been in your life start to leave this world, which is really hard to come to terms with. And you just never think that's going to happen. They're untouchable. Like they'll be here forever, but that's not true. So I think a big thing for me is like to anyone that's 20, like live in the now, be grateful for what you have. Life goes so quickly. And yeah, that would be one.
Yeah. And also like dropping those expectations, like you were saying that you thought, you know, by whatever age you're going to be married, have a house, have a kid, like, you know, that is very much societal norms and, you know, we can feel those pressures and I've definitely felt those pressures. But for you and I, we talk about it a lot, like we want a different life and, you know, depending on what feels right for us. And if all those things feel right, and then absolutely, but, you know, if you feel like you want to chase a career or, you know, you want to travel a lot or, you know, whatever that might look like, just drop those expectations from yourself.
Yeah, like just don't be so hard on yourself and whatever's meant to be will be. It'll all fall into place. This is your journey, no one else's journey. Don't listen to outside voices. Like listen to your gut. Like it's there if you reconnect to your body and know how to, and stay true to what you need, not what anyone else needs, because and especially at that age, you're so prone to like people pleasing, or I was. And then you get to a certain point and it's like, why did I do that? Or like, why have I not stuck to my word for this or had strong boundaries? I mean, it's all a part of learning and life experiences, but yeah, just stick to your.
And did I make that decision for me, or was I influenced by, you know, parents, family,
friends,
social media, societal norms?
Yeah.
Jackie, who I mentioned earlier, she always says everything works out in the end. And if it hasn't worked out yet, it's not the end.
So true though. Like everything does. And then even if you look back and it's like that felt really big for you in the moment, it always like you look back a week later or 2 weeks later and you're like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just always ride the wave. Be patient. Be grateful. Live in the moment. Spread love. Be kind. Kindness always.
Yeah. And so for like, obviously I know about your journey and your self-development and everything over, you know, the last few years. What has been the most transformative time for you in those years? And like, was it one particular thing or a multitude of things, or like what does that look like?
I think so many things. But 2 of them was leaving my ex-boyfriend 5 years ago, or however long it was, and stepping into the version that had been waiting for me.
Yeah.
Like, I used to say to my therapist, like, I feel like I'm being pulled by something, like an energetic field, or someone being like, come on, come this way, or you go down that path. So as soon as I left that relationship, it was a bit rocky for me. Like, went a bit off the rails. Like, just like got involved with like the wrong people, not bad people, but just not
and not aligned to you. Yeah,
not aligned to me. I had a little moment, had to figure a few things out. Went through a lot of therapy, and I think that was very transitional for me. And then figuring out what I wanted without a partner, because I was like, hey, like I'm 20, however old. I need to start thinking of my life now, building it without my partner. So what does my life, what do I really want my life to look like? So it was very transformative for me.
And knowing what you want your life to look like, or at least having an idea, is so key, isn't it? Like earlier in the year, later last year, I was working with a business coach. She's based in America and she was incredible. And she was a recommendation, and I got on the first call with her. Yeah, and I was expecting her to be like, what are your goals? What does it look like? She got me to close my eyes and she got me to take a deep breath, and she was like, right, I want you to visualize your dream day in the future, and what does it look like? And then this was a practice that she was getting me to do it daily, and to see all of those details, to feel the feelings that I would feel in that moment, and everything, like the sounds, the smells, like everything.
So good.
Yeah, and the theory behind that was that if you can't visualize something, or you don't have a direction of where you want to go, then you are just going to
float or kind of just be all over the shop.
Yeah, absolutely. So knowing what you want, and just because you know what you want, it doesn't mean that is exactly where you're going to go. Like, obviously you can pivot and change, but having some kind of direction, that's just key.
Yeah. So I think that was one of them. And then the second one was my dad choosing not to be a part of my life anymore.
Yeah.
So that obviously then pivoted me into I was obviously a life coach at that point, but I really wanted to niche down on father complex. So they were like, the two like men in my life, essentially, male figures, helped me completely and utterly change my life for the best. So that would be my answer to your question. Does that answer?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah. Okay, and then another question. So I know for you that your routine is really important, weekly, daily, whatever that looks like. And I know you've spoken to me about how that's helped to transform your life and make yourself more productive, and all of the good things that come from that. What is something that you'd like to share out of your routine that has been fundamental in helping you to change, to become this new version of yourself? And what does that look like? Like what is something that our listeners could take
away from my morning routine? It's funny.
It's morning, yeah.
What did I say?
No. You were saying your morning routine.
Oh yeah, morning. Yeah. It's funny. Matt's assistant actually asked me the other day what our morning routines were.
Yeah.
And then I was saying it out loud. I was like, I got halfway through it and I was like, oh my God, like I'm exhausted just like hearing myself say this. But when you're actually doing it, it's so like I couldn't start my day without it.
Yeah, when something becomes a habit, you don't think about it. And I always say that to my clients that come into the studio and with the stress management stuff as well. If you're trying to employ or trying to bring something new into your life, habit pair. So what is something you do in the morning without even thinking about it, like brushing your teeth? So maybe like pair something else.
What? I was going to say go to the toilet. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, keep going.
I don't know if it's a habit or a need of the physical body.
Sorry, I just keep going.
Brushing teeth, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so habit pair. So something that you already do when you're doing that, then straight afterwards or straight before, add in this new thing that you want to become a habit. Continue that, and then then all of a sudden that second thing that you're bringing on will become a habit as well.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really great tip. For me, the most impactful part of the morning is going to the gym. Like I often wake up and I don't know if it's like a nervous energy, but I feel energy flowing through my body and I have to move it.
Yeah.
So for me, I get up, I do, whether it's saying what I'm grateful for, I go do my tongue scraping, brush my teeth, skincare, have a shower. So yeah, the gym, so being able to move my body and then being out and being in the sun, like having the sun, like feeling the sun on my skin, looking into the sun, because they say to look.
Yeah.
I know it's very controversial this because of the whole, damage, sun damage.
I think it's in the morning as soon as the sun is rising. So sun gaze is really good.
Yep. So that's a huge part of my morning routine is being out in nature and then going to the gym. So moving that energy that's kind of been laying stagnant in my body for the night, getting up, moving, then going and being completely by myself in nature. But there are so many other things that help me, like little things like a lemon juice, and like it just makes me feel better. Like I just feel like I've done the right thing for my body. I feel healthy. And then there's like, I do like this other thing, beetroot, celery and carrot juice, like every single morning.
How do you? Beetroot's really detoxifying.
I thought you were going to say it's really toxic. It's like, whoa.
Detoxify.
Yeah. So I have that every morning, and I feel like that just helps with like not feeling too hungry. It doesn't, like, I just feel so clean as well. So that's like a big part of my routine. But I could dive into it, like there's so many different things, but those are the three.
The morning, and giving yourself that self-love in the morning just sets you up for the day.
100%. And being able to show up for yourself, and then if you show up for yourself, you're more likely to be able to show up for people around you, be able to be in a better mood, move with love and gratitude and kindness. But if you ignored all of the things that you needed in the morning, like if I ignored that I could feel this like energetic energy in my body where it's a little bit anxious, it's a little bit tense, I would be like, I would actually be really like not myself. I'd be grumpy. I'd be...
But for a lot of people, it's interesting. A lot of my stress management clients, they... will get up in the morning, they'll get up to a really aggressive alarm, which puts them in that stress state. They don't often make time to meditate or, have a morning practice, move their bodies. So they're moving from waking up in a stress state into this rush day where they have to, get the kids ready, get into the office, or,
it's like fight or flight straight away.
Yeah, absolutely. Whereas your routine, you're moving your body, doing these self-care routines that are putting you in that parasympathetic state, that rest and digest, which means you're in a calm place where, your body and mind is going to function so much better going into the day.
And another tip as well for people that might be listening to this and being like, well, because like my morning routine, and same with Matt, is like, I think mine's 3.5 hours and then his is 4 hours. You don't have to spend 4 hours in the morning. We choose to get up at 4 a.m. so that we can serve ourselves to be able to show up for whatever the day has planned for us. But so many people will be like, oh, I don't have time to do that, or the kids. And I think even if it is like 10 minutes of prioritizing yourself, if that's like waking up 5 minutes early, 10 minutes early to take a few deep breaths on the corner of your bed and to say what you're grateful for. And if that's the only thing a part of your morning routine for now, then so be it. At least you've shown up for yourself.
Absolutely. And then even just taking that 5-10 minutes, it creates that habit.
Exactly.
So then, once you become used to doing it and it is an embedded habit, you don't think about, oh, I need to wake up, I need to do this, I have to do it. It's like, oh, you want to, and it just becomes part of your normal routine.
And then to be disciplined as well, that gives you confidence. So like it only makes you want to be like, okay, cool. Like I'm feeling really good after being so disciplined with myself and like doing this for how many weeks. I'm actually going to introduce something else because I actually really value this time for myself. So it naturally just falls into place, and you end up having, because that was like me. I only ever used to work out and then off I went with my day. But then I was like, no, I'll get up earlier and I want to be like fully just be with myself.
Yeah. And I think as well, when you're slowly introducing these things, and for me it was like this, that my first thing I introduced in the mornings was a meditation practice. And I was like, cool, okay, I'll do it Monday to Friday because that was my work week. And then weekends, I probably won't worry about it. And I was like, well, no. So I got used to doing the Monday to Friday. And I was like, well, what difference does it make if it's Wednesday or Saturday?
Yeah,
so
you should be doing it.
Yeah, and your practice slowly develops. And some things I think, might help you now, might not help you in 6 months. So you chop and change and do whatever works for you.
Yeah. I think as well, another thing for people is like, you don't have to go into like I said, the 4-hour routine, like just one thing at a time, and then build on that. Because people are like, oh, I don't want to do meditation for 5 minutes. I don't want to do this either. Just give yourself, just start.
Go for a walk around
very
the block.
minimal.
Yeah.
Very minimal, and then go from there.
Yeah, cool.
Shall we
Yeah. So quickly, do you want to give us a bit of an update on where you're at in terms of father complex coaching, what's going on? Any highlights or
Any highlight? Oh my gosh, all the time. I feel like there's so many like fun and exciting things, like lots of connecting with incredible and beautiful people and being able to hear so many stories and hold space for people. So I'm absolutely loving that. I'm in the mix of creating some online courses, and I've also just created a Facebook page, community page.
Oh, amazing.
So I don't know if I mentioned this last time in the podcast. I really want like the work that I do to feel like we can all come together and support each other. And because so many women are moving through father complex, and they do have some really interesting, like hard stories. And I want to build a community so that we have the support and we have the love. And if you feel open to sharing your story, you're more than welcome to. If you don't, just come along and learn and grow, like evolve. So I've created like a family page, community page, and I'm creating courses at the moment to go online, so we don't have to do them weekly one-on-one, just
so
us.
It can be more when you've got time, you can jump on and do it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Stuff, so cool. Okay. Yeah,
so
great.
it'll just be me talking to you. So like, but not in the live moment.
Yeah.
In the present moment. So.
And is there an opportunity then for your clients to check in with you as well?
Yeah. So I'll still do weekly. So let's say it's a 5-week course.
Yep.
I'll still check in on you weekly and see how you're going. So it's kind of like I'm holding you accountable. Do you have any questions? Is there anything I can help you with? Do you want to jump on a call quickly? Has anything come up for you? So I do still hold that space.
Yeah, amazing.
But also for shorter periods of time. So it might just be a 10-minute quick check-in.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on. And then I've also got a 5-week course that's in person with 10 other females. So I'm encouraging people that have if you and your friends have a difficult relationship with your father, come along. It's 10% off if you bring a friend, if you sign up with a friend. So I'm really encouraging people not to be ashamed of sharing their story or feel that, oh, it's so negative if I sit here and talk about the issue that I had with my father or like what's happened to me in my life. Like I'm really encouraging it to be healthy.
I think it's nice to know that you're not alone, right? And that you have so many
support.
People going through or that have been through similar situations, still trying to navigate it, and you can offer each other support and know that you're not alone.
Yeah, not alone, and you're not forced to tell you. You can just come along and learn, like I said. So,
okay, amazing. So to wrap us up for today, so both of us obviously have little geeks inside of us that love learning.
Yeah.
And I know this week you went to a personal branding keynote speaker, Matt Purcell.
Matt Purcell. Yeah. I think.
So can you share with the audience what your key takeaways were from that?
Good question.
Yeah. And just to wrap us up and just inspire us,
Oh gosh. No pressure. Like do a recap of this keynote and inspire us.
Top takeaways and inspire us.
Geez, there was so many takeaways. Hey, I'm just trying to think. So he spoke a lot about sharing your story. So and then obviously having like personal brand and then your business. So learning how to implement you and show people who you really are and why you are doing what you're doing. So for example, why have I chosen father complex? Because I have a really complicated relationship with my father. So he really emphasized on helping you understand to share your story and how to share your story, which I thought was really, and he went into depth, and I've got all these photos. I should actually share some. I don't know if I can do that, but they're really, really insightful.
Can you put them up on your website and share a link?
Yeah, maybe I can do something
or on
like
the
that.
Facebook page.
Yeah, I took so many notes and then added the photos from the event, and I really want to send them to you.
Yeah, can you please?
Yeah, he was saying for example, the reason that I chose father complex was because of the pain that has driven me to where I am. He was essentially saying there is always pain behind what has fueled us into a certain area of our life.
Yeah, I can see that, because for me, the stress management was working in the corporate world all through my 20s. working big hours and being so stressed.
Yeah, exactly. And you wanted to learn how to regulate yourself. So then you had something that kind of pushed you into a certain, for some people that they might be working in, I don't know, like an office job or whatever that is, but they still have, I want to be successful because I had not a great upbringing, or like it doesn't have to be like an actual business. Like, there's always pain behind something,
right? Yeah,
to push you. Is that making sense?
No, it does. It makes complete sense. Yeah.
So you go.
Oh, I was going to say, so there's usually like a trigger or something as to why you choose what direction to take, which is our conditioning, right? So whatever's happened in our upbringing conditions us.
Yep.
And
exactly.
if we either, want to follow that path or go against it because it's caused us pain, we don't want that pain anymore. We might have had an upbringing with not much wealth. And so now we choose to be disciplined and get a good job, study, get a good job, whatever that looks like, so that we have wealth, financial wealth.
Yeah, exactly. So he spoke about that, and it was a really big one for me because obviously I do have a story and a really in-depth, I guess, and some people would see it as painful. It was. So I do get a little bit nervous about sharing that story. And I always think to myself, I need people to understand what I've been through so that I want people to be able to trust me because I've been there. Like, I've been in a tough relationship.
And also, I think you being vulnerable, and this goes for any relationships, like, you being vulnerable allows other people to open up. Like, you're giving people a safe space because if you're willing to share that information, then, you're showing them that it's okay. Yeah.
So I think for me, it's like, I know I want to share my story, but it's like maybe even waiting, like, am I ready yet? Like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to make other people understand? But also when you're in your head, you're dead. So like kind of making it. Yeah, so he really helped me in that area. And then he also he said something really interesting. He was like, influencers are out and educators are in. I don't think that's the actual word that he's used, but essentially it's experts. He said experts are in. So he was talking about like their whole influencer life of like promoting what they're doing, what an influencer is. Is kind of really fading out, and then people that are educated and experienced are really starting to, that's what's valued.
It's funny because in the episode with Simon, he was saying how Instagram used to be very different when he first started in the digital world. So maybe 10 years ago, it was all, information and evaluating educational pieces. And he was saying it's gone away from that. Now it's a lot of it is around lifestyles. But interesting coming back to the expert piece. Yeah.
And it kind of just gave me a little bit of like motivation as well. Cause I was like, I've always battled like, oh my gosh, there's so many influencers on Instagram and like, how do you get your message out there? But people are so like, they want to learn now, like they want to be educated as well. So it was just like really interesting to hear. And then one more thing, just quickly, there was so much, he added so much value.
Really,
highly, highly recommend looking into his stuff. Absolute gun. And then he also spoke about, I've had like an absolute mental blank.
So it was like building
how to share your story.
Yeah. So first of all, knowing where your stories come from, how to share your story.
And then second is kind of, it was just like a little tip pretty much saying that influencers are out and education and experts are coming in.
And adding value. But I can see that in terms of what I follow now, say on Instagram. All of it's like self-development stuff and, yoga, travel, but stuff that's educating me, like cool places to travel to, amazing, like, I don't know, different routines, habits, whatever. Yeah.
I'm just like, I know there was one other thing that I want to share, but I've gone so blank. So I was like, I'll bring up a photo, but
no, add it in. Put it on your
Facebook
I
definitely
page
will,
or on the website and add in a link. But that's
especially
great.
People that are building a brand or like personal brand and a business, so important. And he had so many good tips. And a lot of people like ask like, how do I like be myself and like in personal brand, like do I put things on like my dog and what I do during the day? And he was like, absolutely, like be yourself, like completely and utterly yourself, but show them. Yeah, just like show them your life on your personal brand.
And doing things that are authentic to you. Like if it's authentic to you to put up a story of your little dog or whatever that might be, then do it. But if you feel like you're forcing it and you don't enjoy doing it, don't do it.
Don't do it. Because he was actually saying, so like the founder of Apple, essentially, of Apple, he has more or had more people on his personal Instagram than Apple did itself. So it was just talking about how personal brand is so important. So like people would think, oh, Apple has way more followers because it's like so well known. It's like everyone's got an Apple phone, everyone's got a laptop. But actually the founder himself had more of a following because he built that. So his personal brand. So it was kind of expressing how important it is to take control and like in your personal branding. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's super interesting.
But I'm blank in the mind right now. So don't ask me another question.
No, that's amazing. Any inspiring advice for our listeners to go get the life that they want over the next 2 weeks?
When you're in your head, you're dead. How many times
have I
said that?
Awesome.
Get out of the head and into the body.
There we go. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Ciao.